Hello, and welcome to Let's Play Advance Wars. This is the first video of the Advance Wars campaign. If you're new to Advance Wars, I recommend going back and watching my 3 field training videos if you haven't done so already. The basic storyline of the campaign is introduced during field training. Orange Star has been invaded by its neighbor, Blue Moon. The Blue Moon forces are led by an angry, Santa Claus-like general named Olaf, who seems to bear a personal vendetta against Orange Star. From the mode select screen here, we're going to select campaign, and then choose a new campaign. So here we see the world map for the first time. Looks like our first battle is going to take place in northwestern Orange Star. Olaf says, "Orange Star forces? Here so soon? But wait, something's not right here. Nell wouldn't leave Orange Star's capital city unguarded. Which means, a new commanding officer? Ha ha ha, excellent. I've lost a few battles lately, but no more. An Orange Star army without Nell is no match for me. Time to teach this raw recruit what war's all about." Looks like I'll be playing as Andy. Andy says, "I'm Andy. Pleased to meet you, Sodruns." Mission 1. It's war. Day 1. Nell says, "Sodruns, Andy, do you read me?" Andy says, "Nell? Is that you? Is this a transceiver?" Nell says, "That's right, Andy. I'll be using it to contact you from here on out. As this is your first real command, I wanted to check up on you." Andy says, "No worries here. This is going to be easy." Nell says, "Oh, Andy, you're nothing if not enthusiastic. Let me give you a few words of advice. First, let's talk about your CO power. You can use your CO power when the power meter is full. The meter fills up gradually over the course of battle. Once it's full, well, I'll cover that when the time comes. Oh, I also have to tell you about the terms of victory. The terms of victory explain what you need to accomplish to fulfill a mission. Do you see Intel on the map menu? Select it, and you'll see 3 new menu items: Terms, Status, and CO. If you select Terms, I'll explain what you must do to win on this map. You should also take a look at the other 2 items when you have the time. There's a lot of useful intel in there. Okay, Andy, you listen to Sodruns and do your best. Good luck, Sodruns. Take care of Andy." Alright, here we are in Campaign Mission 1. First thing I'm going to do is go to the Intel menu and read the terms, just like Nell said. So the terms for most missions are going to be HQ capture or defeat all enemy units, also known as rout. But there are several campaign missions that have unique victory conditions. For this one, Nell says, "Here you must capture the enemy HQ or defeat all the enemy units." Going back to Intel, there is a status option. Here we have a battle status screen, and this has some useful information on it. It tells you the name of the mission. The first mission is called It's War. It tells you what day it is, and it gives you a nice little rundown of how many properties and how much income you have. Now let's go to the CO option. So this menu provides a summary of the COs which are participating in the battle. Obviously, I'm playing as Andy. So on the first screen, it gives you a general summary of Andy. For Andy, it says, "No real weaknesses. Ready to battle whenever and wherever." If you go two screens down, it gives you a personality screen for Andy. It says that Andy is a brash and energetic boy wonder. It provides sort of a favorite and least favorite thing, also known as a hit or a miss for Andy. So Andy's hit is mechanics, and his miss is waking up early. And we get a little quote from Andy. "If it needs fixing, I'm your man." Let's go over to Olaf. Olaf is strong in the snow, weak in the rain. A solid CO of above average ability. for his personality. Plans often go awry, but he's deadly serious. Hit, warm boots. Miss, rain clouds. And his quote is, "I will teach you the meaning of power. Ho ho ho." Now we're going to talk about the CO powers, starting with Andy. Andy's CO power is called Hyper Repair. It restores 2 hit points to all units. So unlike in later Advance Wars games, in Advance Wars 1 there's only 1 CO power. In Advance Wars 2 and 3 there are 2 levels of CO power. A normal one and a Super CO power. But here in Advance Wars 1 there's only 1 CO power per CO. Over on Olaf's CO power page, we see that his power is called Blizzard. Causes it to snow, creating favorable conditions for his units. Also, unlike in later Advance Wars games, Blizzard does not cause damage to enemy troops, and only causes it to snow. And I want to talk real quick about how quickly the CO power meters charge up. This is not explained very well in the game at all, and it's a bit convoluted, but buckle up, I'm going to talk about it. So if you look in the lower right of the screen, you see this sort of gray bar wrapping around Andy's icon. So that is going to gradually fill up as the battle progresses. The way it fills up is the more damage is done to you, the faster it fills up. Every CO power has an associated money value. For Andy and Olaf, it is 30,000 gold. So what this means is, every time you take 30,000 gold worth of damage, your CO power will be filled to 100%. And this is sort of meant to give the losing general, or the losing CO, more of an edge by letting him use his power more often. And that number, 30,000, is going to be different for each CO, but for Andy and Olaf, both of them have 30,000 as their number. You also fill up your CO power meter by inflicting damage, but it is only filled up at 1/4 of the rate as receiving damage. So I would need to inflict 120,000 gold worth of damage to fully fill up my meter, whereas I would only need to receive 30,000 to fill up the meter. Alright, clear as mud, right? And like I said, Andy and Olaf both have a 30,000 gold meter. Alright, that's enough talking. Let's get to the battling. So let's look at this map here. It's a bigger map than what we saw in field training. You actually have to scroll around to see all of it. There's a nice river running southwest and northeast with 2 bridge crossings. I start with a completely land army of about a dozen units. Olaf has a similar army but with more units. He's got somewhere around 15. I don't really feel like counting, but you know, for challenge, Olaf has more units than me. I do start with a medium tank and 2 tanks, and 2 artillery pieces. Olaf has, it looks like, 3 tanks, a medium tank, 2 artilleries, and a rocket, plus some smaller units. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split my army into 2 groups. In the south, I'm going to send my medium tank. We're going to roll him out and attack Olaf's tank on the road. Reduces Olaf's tank to 1 HP. I gotta watch out for this rocket unit over here, which is covering both of these cities here. You can see the rocket's attack range in red. So I'm just going to move my tank in, and we'll put him here to the one above and one to the left of the medium tank. He's still outside of rocket range. Also going to send in my recon. And I'm going to send in my artillery. The rest of the units I'm going to send to the north. So if I look at the terrain here, this one square that the cursor is on here is a choke point that Olaf must get through to get to my base. So I'm going to park my mech in that spot, and the mech is going to be covered by a tank, an anti-air, and artillery. And then we're just going to sit and wait for Olaf to blunder his way directly into me. Day 1 for Olaf. He's rolling his units forward. Uses his normal tank to shoot at my mech, reducing it to 4, reducing his tank to 9. Alright, in the south, Olaf has failed to fully cover his rockets, so I'm just gonna roll my medium tank right up to those rockets and blast. Boom! Fingers crossed. Ah, didn't quite destroy it. Left his rockets at 1 HP. I'll take my... okay, I'll take my tank. Shoot at Olaf's artillery on the road, reducing it to 3. And then I'll move my recon onto the city and finish off Olaf's artillery. And then I'll tuck my artillery into this protected space here, behind the recon and the tank. And his anti-air can't get to the artillery. In the north, we're going to do a little bit of bombardment. Reducing Olaf's tank to 2 HP. I'm going to move up my mech onto the mountain and shoot at Olaf's tank. Should destroy it. Then I'm going to move up my tank and smack his artillery right in the face. Reducing it to 4. That artillery can still damage my units, so I'm going to be careful to stay out of its firing range. Move everything else up as much as I can. Alright, so I just inflicted a lot of damage on Olaf. Let's see if his CO power is fully charged. Go to Intel, CO. And if I go over to Olaf, I see that it is flashing, his CO power meter is flashing an alarming blue-pink strobe pattern. That means that he's ready to use it on the next turn. If you look at my CO power meter, it looks like it's about 40% full. So like I explained before, Olaf took a lot of damage, so his power meter is going to fill up a lot faster. Let's go ahead and end the turn. Day 1 for Olaf. Or, sorry, day 2 for Olaf. He says, "Let the winds of war bring snow! Ho ho ho!" A blizzard descends upon the land. He's moving up his infantry, capturing cities. He's going to use his anti-air to shoot at my recon on the city, reducing it to 6. Alright, so like we covered in field training, when it's snowing, your units are going to have severe mobility issues. Unless they're moving on roads, their movement penalty is severely decreased on all terrain. Plains, forests, mountains are gonna be a lot harder to move through in snow. So getting around this map is gonna be difficult when it's snowing. And Olaf received no movement penalties whatsoever in the snow. That's his advantage. If we look at the map here, we see that Olaf's units are flashing a sort of like flashing white. Kind of looks like they're filled with power. This indicates that he just used his CO power. And there's also a status effect applied to these units, all of Olaf's units. In Advance Wars 1, every single CO gets a plus 10% attack and plus 10% defense bonus on the turn when they've applied their CO power. Those stats are different in later games, but in Advance Wars 1, it's plus 10 attack, plus 10 defense. So Olaf's units are going to hit a little harder and be harder to kill on the turn that he has his CO power in effect. Alright. Let's do the north first. Wow, the snow is really making it so I can't get around. I'm going to take my tank and just... no, I'm going to leave it where it is and shoot at Olaf's artillery, destroying it. His anti-air can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces, so he can't make it to my anti-air in the back here. Actually, I'm gonna move my anti-air here. Move the artillery here. It's not gonna quite cover the tank, but good enough. Look at my infantry. It can only move one space on the plains, one space in the forest. Can't move it all through the mountains. Alright. I think I'll move my APC up. It should give the anti-air something to shoot at, and it's covered by the artillery. Alright, in the south here, I'm going to use my medium tank to shoot at Olaf's mech on the plains, reducing it to 2. Medium tank takes a tiny bit of damage, but still remains at 10 HP. And then I'm going to bombard one of his anti-airs with my artillery. And move my recon back, put my tank on the city, and shoot at the other anti-air, reducing it to 5. It's noticeable how harder Olaf's stuff is to kill when he's using his CO power. Alright, let's end the turn. Day 3. Olaf is capturing cities with his infantry. In the north, he moves his anti-air up to shoot at my APC, reducing it to 6. In the south, he's going to take aim at my artillery. His 4 HP anti-air reduces it to 9. And then his other anti-air is going to probably reduce it to 8. No, 7. Alright, in the north, I'm going to bombard Olaf's anti-air. Boom! Reducing it to 3. I'm going to take my anti-air, move it up, blast his infantry on the city, reducing it to 3. Take my tank, finish off the infantry on the city. Move the APC into these woods here to kind of chill for a moment. Use my mech to finish off Olaf's 3 HP anti-air. Boom. This mech is useless. I'm just going to let him heal up on my cities. And move the infantry up. Down here in the south, I need to destroy these anti-airs, so I'm just going to pull my medium tank back Destroy the 5 HP anti-air. Then I'll use my tank to finish off the 4 HP anti-air. Bring up my recon and finish off this 2 HP mech with it. End the turn. Olaf's already halfway to filling his CO power meter again. Moving up his infantry in the south. Alright. In the south, we have a mech that has to be dealt with. I'm going to use my medium tank for that. Attack the mech from the forest so I have a little bit of defense. The medium tank is still at full health. Move in the recon to finish off the mech. The 2 infantries, I'm just going to ignore for the most part. And I'm going to move up my tank and artillery in the north. I need to set a trap for this tank. So if I put a unit on this forest here, the tank will walk right up to the forest and shoot at it. What unit am I going to use for this trap? If I put the artillery here, and I put the anti-air here, and the tank behind, Olaf should move up, shoot at the anti-air, damage it, and then get killed on the next turn by the artillery and the tank. Yeah, I like that. In the meantime, we'll just polish off these Olaf infantry units up here. Alright. Day 5. In the north, Olaf's he's gonna take the bait. Shoots at my anti-air. In the north, we're gonna do a little bombardment. Boom! Reducing that tank to 3. Oh, it looks like my CO power meter is full. Nell says, "Sode runs. Andy, do you copy?" Andy says, "Nell, what is it?" Nell says, your power meter is full. Andy's CO power lets you repair all damaged units, right? Do you know when it's best to use it?" Andy says, no, I don't." Nell says, "Well, I guess I'll have to tell you. Since you're able to repair all your units, you should use your power when you have damaged units." Kinda seems obvious, right? Oh, and one more thing. When you use your power, all of your units will be a little stronger for that turn. Don't forget what I just told you, okay? Is that clear? And he says, "Not really, but that's okay. I'll just let Sode runs decide." Nell says, "Oh well, I guess that'll have to do. Sode runs, you're in command. Good luck." Alright, so I do have damaged units. I could use the CO power now, but I'm gonna wait. And the reason I'm waiting is because I need to destroy this medium tank. And to do it, I need to utilize that 10% attack, 10% defense bonus that I get. So I think it's going to be next turn that I actually use my CO power. This turn, I'm going to set a trap for this medium tank. I'm going to move my guys up. I move my guys up in the south, and next turn I'm going to set the trap for the medium tank. In the north, I'm just going to finish destroying Olaf's tank with my full health tank. Finish Olaf's 3 HP infantry in the north. And I'll just start capturing his 2 cities with my full health infantry. Alright. I'm going to set another trap for this tank. I'm going to use the APC. No, I'm going to use the anti-air. It might die. I hope it doesn't, but it might die. And I'm going to put my artillery in a place where it can destroy the tank after it attacks the anti-air. Finish capturing this city in the north here. I'm going to ignore these 2 Olaf infantry in the south, but I'm going to put my mech on my HQ in case they decide to come for the HQ. Alright, here we go. That's the movement range of Olaf's medium tank. So I'm going to put the recon within movement range. The medium tank will come in and kill my recon. I'm sorry it has to happen, recon, but you're making a sacrifice for the greater good. And then Olaf's medium tank will be destroyed by my medium tank and my artillery. Day 7 for Olaf. He's not quite at the point of using his second blizzard, but he's getting close. Moves in his medium tank. Utterly annihilates my recon. Rest in peace, recon. Alright, now I will use my CO power. And it's going to heal all units by 2 HP. Plus I get a plus 10 attack, plus 10 defense bonus. First we're going to bombard Olaf's medium tank. Boom! Reduce it to 6. Move up the medium tank, finish her off. He didn't take the bait. He did not try to shoot at my APC. Kind of surprised. I don't know. I don't get it. Alright. Now Olaf's going to use his CO power for the second time. Snow descends upon the land. Captures the 2 cities. He's going to move up his APC, reducing it to 1. Not a whole lot of use out of a CO power, especially since this APC is going to be destroyed with extreme prejudice, or rather the tank. Bombarded and reduced to 4, and I'll move up my tank. Boom! Now Olaf has no tanks, He does have a single rocket guarding his HQ. In the south, I'm going to finish this 1 HP rocket that escaped and started to heal. And I'm going to move up my forces as close as I can get to the HQ without being in range of the rockets. Next turn. Day 9. I'm going to bring up my units and put them in such an arrangement that the rockets can't shoot at them. Because remember, the rocket can't shoot at anything 1 space or 2 spaces away. It can only shoot 3 to 5. Day 10 for Olaf. He's moving his infantry up, but it's not going to be for any kind of useful purpose for him. Take my mech and start capping his HQ. Move my medium tank up. Destroy his last rocket with it. Use my mech to defend against the infantry trying to capture it. Next turn, he's going to start capping my HQ, but I have this tank to prevent that from fully coming to fruition. Let's move the rest of my guys up just for fun. Day 12. Finish her off today. Bring in my tank to destroy the Olaf infantry on my HQ. Finish her off with the mech. Actually, I think it'll reduce it to 1. Nope. Destroyed. I actually think I'll win by destroying all of his units. Yeah, I will. Shoot at this 4 HP infantry and destroy it, and that should be the last of Olaf's units. Olaf says, "I lost again? Who in the world are you?" Andy says, "My name's Andy. I'm the CO. This is my advisor, Sodruns." Olaf says, "Advisor? We needed no advisors when I was in the Orange Star Army." Huh. Be that as it may. Sodruns, Andy. It takes a lot to best me. I'll remember your names. Mark my word. Ho ho ho. Andy says, "Hey Grandpa, who are you?" Olaf says, "Who am I, you ask? Throughout Orange Star, I was known as..." Andy says, "Nell's Papa?" Olaf says, "That's right, Nell's..." "What? No! This is what I get for being nice to children. No respect. Grr. You just watch yourself, little boy. Ho ho ho." Andy says, "I win!" Alright, so looking at the victory screen, I got an A on mission 1. It's actually extremely difficult to get an S on this mission. I don't think I've ever done it before in all my years playing this game. It's really hard to get an S on the first mission, so I consider A to be a win. So the number of coins you get depends on the rank that you got. S gives you 12, A gives you 9, I think B gives you 6. Nell says, "Congratulations! You've received some Advance Wars coins. You can use these coins to shop at battle maps. Go to battle maps and talk to Hachi for more information. You can find battle maps on the Mode Select menu. Check it out." And then finally get to the save screen, and this is where I will leave you. In the next video, we'll tackle Mission 2. That's going to wrap it up. Peace.